Fifth Hour Radio Show.
So, Justin, give us a little background on your story. Had you always been a big kid, or was it something that happened, to you later in life?
I was always big. That was all I ever knew. I have report cards from whenever I was 5. I was already over, right around 100 pounds at 5.
At what point did being overweight actually start bothering you personally?
Well, I remember going on my first diet in 7th grade. I was 250 pounds, and I lost 20 pounds. I remember that like it was yesterday. I was so excited and so proud of myself. I got down to like 230, and then before I knew it, I had not only gained back to 20 pounds, but I gained like 30. So, and it just went back and forth like that.
Did you experience a lot of name-calling or hurtful things growing up because of your weight?
Oh, yeah. Well, in junior high, it was horrible. Horrible. My sister, at one point, my sister was coming to pick me up every day at lunch because the class I had after lunch was just a nightmare. I got made fun of so bad. And finally, my mom actually went to the principal to try to have my schedule changed because I just wanted like 2 classes swapped. No, they're like, no, sorry, there's too many kids that are like the other kids and not enough kids like Justin, so he's just going to have to learn to deal with it. The kids didn't find out that my mom had went and done all this, but had they had found out, it probably would have made it harder, I'm sure.
That's what I was going to ask you if it might work.
Yeah. That happens a lot today. I mean, I was actually given a speech the other day, and I got to talking about bullying. And this little 7-year-old girl came up to me, and I didn't even plan on talking about bullying. And usually, though, I don't really plan my speeches. I just know, like, kind of what I want to talk about and where I'm going. And this little 7-year-old girl came up to me, and she said, I'm getting bullied right now, and it literally broke my heart because it is such an issue today. I don't even know how I would have dealt with, because today we have Facebook and we have cell phones and all this stuff that kids are getting bullied not just at school but 24/7 around the clock because of the media.
What kind of advice would you give a child that's getting bullied at school?
I'll just tell them that it gets better. It's not, it may seem like it's just the worst thing that you're going through, and it's really hard, but it does get better. Chances are they're just jealous or insecure. Hang in there, don't give up, and don't listen to what they say. Because it's not true. It's just their own insecurities reflecting back on them is what it is.
At what point did you hit that rock bottom moment when you decided to actually make the change to do something about your weight?
Well, whenever I was 26, I woke up. It was like I woke up because I didn't really see myself like I was. I mean, I knew I was big and I knew I had all these issues, but I really didn't realize how big I had let myself get. And it seemed like, because I had been big my whole life, so it was all I knew. And it just seemed like once I got over the 500-pound mark, everything just went downhill. I got type 2 diabetes, I had high blood pressure, anxiety, I couldn't hardly walk. I literally was almost immobile. I couldn't tie my shoes. I almost couldn't even take care of myself in the bathroom. I mean, it was to that point. And I just realized one day, I had this gut feeling. I knew I was dying. I knew it was everything in me. I knew my life was measured in months and not years. Mm. And I was preparing myself mentally. And I was watching this show, and I thought, on this show there was a 29-year-old girl, and she was like 700 pounds, or 700 and some odd pounds. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm 26 and I'm already over 600 pounds. Mm-hmm. I'll probably be that weight by the time I'm 29. And she died. And when she died, they had to get not only a special casket, but they had to get a crane. They had to hire a crane to move her body because no one could lift it.
Wow.
And that just, it blew my mind. I thought, oh my gosh, that's what my family's going to have to do. How embarrassing. And it was just like that aha moment, like, oh my, that's not your story yet. You don't have to go there. No one's holding a gun to your head forcing you to eat. You're doing this to yourself. And that was my wake-up call.
What was the first step you had to take to start losing the weight other than setting your mind to it?
Well, I thought, there's no way I can do this. there's no way I can do this without help. So I looked into having surgery. Well, I was too big for surgery. I was not medically cleared to stand it because they figured I would have died on the table. My body could not handle being put under or anything like that. And that's when I found out I had cirrhosis of the liver. Because my liver was so big, it was all the way down to my pelvis. They couldn't have got the tools in there if they had to. There was nothing I could do. It was either lose it on your own. And I left the doctor's office just completely crushed. I was like, Mom, I'm dying. That's it. That's my death sentence. I'm done. There's nothing I can do. I tried. I can't get help. I mean, I was just devastated. She's like, Justin, just try. So you know. If you can't do it, then okay. But at least try so you know. And, you know, it was so hard to actually make up my mind because, of course, I wanted to try and I wanted to lose it. But I thought, I was actually watching because, you know, I had been big my whole life. So I was actually watching the Ellen show, her talk show. And she was like dancing through the audience and she was talking about something that she had done. And I thought, oh my gosh, you know what? I just wish for one day in my life, just one day before I die, I wish I could live freely. Just one day to go out and do anything I wanted to do. That's all I wanted. And I thought, I've got to at least experience one day of freedom. And that's when I thought, I'm going to do this. I don't care what it takes. I want one day of freedom before I die.
Let's time travel a little bit. Compared to now, what was your eating habit? What would be a typical day of meals back then compared to now?
Oh, back then I ate all day, every day. Whenever I wanted to my satisfaction came from being full. Okay? So consider like a high, like a drug high. Okay, well my high came whenever I was what I would call Thanksgiving stuff.
Now, are you saying that we should know what a drug high is?
That's right. You don't know what it is? No, I'm joking. But that to me was my drug, and that's what I compare it to because it was like this fire, this burning desire that I wasn't happy until I was that stuffed. And I don't even know how to describe it besides a drug high. I mean, that's just it's like you're just looking for the next high. Mm-hmm. You're just looking for that next hit. And it was just that Thanksgiving stuff feeling. To me, that was complete happiness and just bliss. And that's how I ended up at 600 pounds.
Let's talk about your surgery. What kind of surgery did you have?
Okay, well, I ended up having, which I lost 130 pounds on my own. Then I had the gastric sleeve surgery. Okay, and all that is they reduce the size of your stomach because I had to deal with a lot of stuff. It took me 6 months to lose 130 pounds. Mm-hmm. And I had to deal with all the emotional side of things. You know,
that's 6 months. That's pretty quick, right? That's a lot of weight, 130
Yeah,
pounds.
it is. I mean, that's very quick. And that I was so big that just changing my eating habits, I mean, it fell off because I was eating probably 10,000 calories a day, and then I dropped it down to probably 1,500. Mm-hmm. Wow. So, yeah, your body just sheds that off. And I had a lot of, like, fluid and fluid retention. Like, my legs swelled so big that in those pants I had that I showed you that you've seen,
yeah,
my left leg was so swollen that it literally was like almost cut the circulation off in those pants. It was crazy. Like, I had no hair on my left leg because my pant legs rubbed it off. That's how tight they were.
You know, I always wondered about those pants when you showed them to me, Justin. Do you wash those pants still? Because are you afraid that they might shrink? You know what I mean? I don't. And then when you pulled them out, you'd be like, "Oh my goodness, I haven't lost as much weight as it looked."
I know, right? No, everyone laughed. They're like, "Oh my gosh, you got pants that you always carry," because they're so different when you see them in person than when you just see them in a photo. Because they're crazy big.
Yeah,
and I had a hard time even getting those on.
Did you have a hard time even finding clothes that size? I mean...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, shockingly. I stumbled up on those because I was to the point where I couldn't really wear pants. I was just like wearing like jogging pants of some kind. Mm-hmm. And I stumbled upon those at Wells Big and Tall when they used to have it at Marion. And I found them, and they actually fit me. They were tight. They fit me. And when I found them like right before they were getting ready to close down. And I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I'm never going to get another pair of pants again because you couldn't even find that size anywhere. I mean, I had looked online and they're like hard to find. It's crazy.
Now, when you had the surgery, was this the first surgery you ever had in your life? I mean, were you nervous
Yes.
about having it, going under the needle,
my gosh,
under the knife?
Scared to death. Oh, I was scared to death. But I felt like I needed something too because my stomach, they said, was the size of a football. So you imagine trying to fill a football to actually get full. Chewing up your food, swallowing it, trying to fill a football. I mean, you have to eat a lot to get that full. So I never felt full. Even, going through the diet, everything that I did for that 6 months, it was like a fire burning me because I was so hungry. And there's also a very, very low rate of, there's not a very good chance of someone who was as big as me not only losing the weight, but there's an even higher risk of keeping the weight off. And most people end up gaining it all back, plus more.
Can you still eat steak and stuff like that?
Oh, yeah. I can eat anything, pretty much. I mean, I eat steak, chicken, I eat all that. But now to the size where I can eat a pretty normal-sized meal. I just always look at my options, especially now that I've noticed, like, 'cause my schedule's so crazy, I'm always running and doing stuff. So a lot of times it's late or I don't have time to cook. And, I need that stop. Sometimes I stop at McDonald's or here, or KFC or wherever, but they all have healthy options now. So I always look at my options I have, and I always choose the healthiest.
Well, tell us about the Limitless, man. What is it and how did that come about?
Well, during that time, whenever I was losing that first 130 pounds on my own, and it goes back to the story I told you about how I wanted to live. I just wanted one day of freedom because I've been big my whole life. So I had never been free to go and just do something without worrying. Never in my life. I mean, you worry about everything when you're bigger. Like, even when you sit on the floor, I remember as a kid thinking, oh, I got to sit close to a wall so I can help myself up. I mean, you're just so shackled in your mind, and people don't really understand that. And so I started writing just things down that I wanted to do. Like, I first started, getting off all my meds, because at that time I was on so many medications. It was, 2 sheets full. I mean, it was crazy how many medications I was on. And getting out of my car without honking the horn because my belly was so big, it laid on my horn. And I couldn't go anywhere without announcing my arrival and announcing my departure. And that's something you don't want to you don't want people staring at you. And when you lay on a horn when you go somewhere, people are going to stare at you. Mm-hmm. So what happens. And so that's what it came from. And I started calling it my bucket list. I was like, no, a bucket list is stuff you want to do before you die. And I could die any day, and there's no way I could even do this even if I wanted to. So it's stuff I want to live for so that one day I can do. And I thought, that's my live it list because I'm going to live for it, and I'm going to do it someday.
Well, what are some of the things you've checked off of that list?
Oh, my goodness. Let me see here. I've got 70 things on there now. It grows every day. Of course, the little things like tying my shoes, taking a bath. I couldn't even take a bath. Even if I wanted to, there was no way I could get in and out of the tub. So I couldn't sit down and get back up. Going teeter-tottering for the first time, that was a big one because I had never been able to teeter-totter. I remember trying one to school, and they got 2 kids on the other end, and then I still stayed on the ground. And I was way too embarrassed to ever try it again. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's crazy little things.
Just little things like that, that you're experiencing now that most people experience when they're younger. That's amazing.
Yeah. Oh, I got to do an awesome thing a couple weeks ago. I got to go to Price is Right.
I saw that.
On it.
I saw that.
Did you see that?
Did you make it up there on Contestants Row or whatever they call it?
Well, I'm not really supposed to say, but I got to go to the stage. I can tell you that much.
And did you get to meet Drew Carey?
It's going to air. I got to meet Drew Carey. He signed my shirt. They saw my pants. I don't know what it'll show. It's supposed to air February 4th.
Did you get a lot of pictures with him? A lot of pictures with Drew Carey, or was it just a quick thing?
They won't let you take your phones in there.
Oh, come on. Really?
I know, right?
What's the reasoning behind that?
I don't know. They make you leave your phones. This is like a 5-hour process. You have to get there super early in the morning. And you have to go through interviews and, oh my gosh, it's 5 hours you have to wait before you actually get in there.
Well, I guess Randy said they might, you might look the prices up or whatever, but I mean, you wouldn't do that if you're up there right there in the front row when you get called up, would you? That'd be like Cheating.
No, well, I guess, that I think I heard people saying that, like some of the other people that were in the audience, because people that's out there in the audience could look it up and then tell who's ever up there. I guess. Maybe that's probably the reason behind it, but a lot of the shows actually out there are like that. But the thing I was most surprised about, oh my gosh, have you ever seen anybody like that up close?
Like what?
Oh my gosh, the makeup they had on was crazy.
Oh, you mean like Drew Carey?
Yes.
He had a ton of makeup on?
Oh my gosh, they look like dead people.
Now, he lost a lot of weight too, right?
He did. And he called me out twice, actually. So I think one time he just called me up there to meet him, and he signed my shirt and checked off my thing. And then he called me out a second time, and I think they might have been recording that time. So they might actually air some of that. I'm not for sure, but it's like, where's the guy who lost 420 pounds? And sometimes he calls people out in the audience. So
well, I hope you make it. You'll be posting that on your Facebook, right?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Now, tell us.
It was really fun.
What about some of the things that you haven't checked off yet?
Well, one of my big things is I want to dance on Ellen. Because like I said, that was the first, I watched her, and that helped me think, I want to live. I just want one day to live. And that was actually the first dance I did, or the first exercise. I got up and danced in my living room, just moved around a little bit while she was dancing through her studio, because I couldn't do anything. I could barely walk. So to me, that couple minutes was a big ordeal. So that's one of the big things I want to do. I just want to, it's just so little, the things just most people can just freely go and experience. The stuff I want to experience now, like skiing. I want to go skiing. I've never been able to do that.
What made you want to go float in the Dead Sea?
You know what? I don't know. That's just something awesome to me. I have so many things on there now because I know, and this is what I want everyone that's struggling with anything. I don't care what you're struggling with. The complete freedom. Once you get to you just get that freedom. I don't care if it's drugs or alcohol or food or whatever it is that's holding you down or binding you or bounding you, whatever you call that. When you reach your goal and you get out of that oppression and you get to the complete freedom, it's priceless. I can't even explain to you what it feels like to know I could do nothing at all. Even if I wanted and begged for it, there was nothing I could do. Now I can do anything in the world.
Well, how has losing all this weight helped you in helping others?
Just number one, people see that, hey, it is possible. It is possible. You don't have to have surgery. Yeah, I did have surgery to help me, but the weight loss came on my own. It didn't come from the surgery, because the surgery was strictly just to help me feel full. And that only changes what people don't realize, because so many people have the surgery and they don't lose, or they just lose 100 pounds, or they just lose so much and then gain so much back, because there's really just 3 months that you can't eat. There's 3 months that you really can't hardly eat anything, because your stomach's healing and you're just going through the processes. All it is. You just have to start out like baby food and then work your way up. And after that 3 months, you can pretty much eat anything you want. And you can stretch your stomach right back out. It's literally what you do with it.
Now, are you down to a weight that you feel comfortable?
Oh, yeah, I'm down to 180.
And that's pretty much what you wanted to get to? Are you wanting to lose any more? Or?
Oh, no, I'm not trying to lose.
You're not afraid you're going to be anorexic now, are you?
Well, you know what? It's hard. Okay, well, I had my skin surgery, and I was 206. I was 206 to 210. That's pretty much what my body went to, and it's stayed at. There's nothing I could do about it. I tried to lose because I wanted to be under 200. That was my goal the whole time. I just wanted to be under 200 so I can say it was in the 100s. And it would not go. It got to 206, 210, and it would never lose anymore. It didn't matter what I did. If I just drank shakes or whatever I did, it would not lose it. And then whenever I had surgery, they took almost 20 pounds off me. So whenever I left the hospital, I checked in at 206 and I left at 180.
Oh, wow.
And and no matter, it seems like I can eat whatever now, and I cannot gain.
That's good.
I will stay. It is good. I think the skin surgery made I don't know if it made my metabolism speed up, or it just seemed like there's something magic.
So there's no fluctuation in your weight right now? You don't wake up one day and you might, or 1 week when you weigh yourself might be 5 pounds more than what you were?
180, yeah. It's usually 5, it can fluctuate 5 to 10 pounds. 180, 185.
Do you get nervous when that happens?
Of course. That little even, like, I've noticed, like, if I can eat more one meal, like, and I don't feel as full, it'll scare me. I'm like, oh my gosh, am I stretching my stomach out? Because I don't want to stretch my stomach back out. I seen it as a gift because I was so young whenever I started abusing food that I didn't consciously make that choice because I was too young to make that choice. So now it's all on me. Now it's my choice. It's my decision. So what I do now is totally on me. I looked at it as my restart. And a lot of people look at it that way. They're like, your new birthday. Like, a lot of people count their surgery or whatever as your new birthday because it really is a new start, a new chance.
Well, Justin, you're really an inspiration to a lot of people, and you're making a name for yourself, especially around this area in Southern Illinois. And I can see it branching out nationwide. And I'd like to give you a chance now to tell a little about your website you got going on right now.
Oh, yeah, it's Limitless.com. I've got, of course, my story on there, and I've started a new blog. This is the first week of it. I try to post a little bit of, like, what I'm going to do. I'm going to have recipes and reviews of products that I love and that I use, and, of course, helpful tips and things that I get to experience. Like, the first thing I made was my airplane ride to L.A., because that was the first time I was ever able to go on an airplane, and it was amazing. I was scared to death. I went by myself out to L.A. There was no way of passing up the chance to go be on Price is Right and the other stuff I did while I was out there. But it was amazing. I met some amazing people. The people at the Craig Ferguson show, the producers asked for my card before I left because they had heard my story.
Wow. See, that's really cool, man. I'm happy for you. That's awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, man. That's a a story like yours coming out of our area. It's a good thing, and I wish you the best on checking every single one of your Limitless goals off.
Thank you so much. I hope I know one day I'll get to, and I'm just going to keep adding to it.
Well, Justin, thank you very much for being on our show, man. Good luck with everything you do.
Thank you so much for having me.
The 25th Hour Radio Show.